Welcome back inside Pinnacle Bank Arena for the third and final day of the 97th Nebraska FFA State Convention. Later today, we will unveil the brand new 2025-26 Nebraska FFA State Officer Team and get the scoop on what all of those FFA members have been up to throughout session. Of course, this coverage brought to you by the Nebraska FFA Foundation. We're going to kick off today's pre-show with a meal packing event that happens the last day every single year, where they get to help dozens and dozens of families in need across Nebraska. Living to Serve is a big mission of the Nebraska FFA, and they are doing that behind us, packing meals. And Georgie Filberg, now Director of Operations, joins us with meals from the Heartland. What are these students doing behind us, Georgie?
Yeah, so these students that are working here today, they're working in groups of about 10, and they're hand packaging our meals. And so they're scooping some soy that's grown in Iowa, they're scooping some pasta that's grown in North Dakota, they're putting in a cheese and seasoning packet that's from Minnesota. They assemble all those, they weigh them, seal them, and box them, and they're putting 36 bags in a box.
All right, where do the boxes go?
Yeah, so these meals are going to stay right here in Lincoln. They're going to be picked up by one of the local food pantries, food banks, and then they'll be distributed within their network of food banks, food pantries, backpack programs. And so it's just a great way for all of these students to come through and do this. We're expecting right around 850 students to come through. We have some support people from a couple of the sponsors, both ADM and Farm Credit Services have sent some of their people in to be some of our table leaders and support. So it's just a great way to bring sponsors and kids together and really make a big impact.
About how many meals will you guys pack when this is all said and done?
Yeah, so our goal is to pack 100,000 meals. We're on pace to do that right now. And so, yeah, it's just amazing to think about that level of meals, that level of teamwork coming through to make this happen. To put that into a smaller number, that's basically the equivalent of roughly 385 kids fed for an entire year through most of our feeding programs. So that can kind of boil that down for you.
Sometimes it's hard to think about hunger here right in the Midwest, but it does affect a lot of families. Are there statistics you can share with us?
Yeah, I think right now they're saying like 1 in 5 families struggle with food insecurity, and kids as well. And so for these students to step up and feed some of their possibly family, friends, neighbors here in Nebraska, it's a powerful tool. As you can see behind us, it's a great way to build camaraderie and service together. But then you think about the impact of these meals as they go out. These are really going to people in need. We have the privilege of feeding people here in Nebraska, but then some of our meals go outside of the country as well. And, the disasters that are literally happening today, there's people in need all over.
What do you hope these FFA members take from this experience once they're done?
Yeah, we really hope that a service event like this is just a spark for them. What a formidable age being in high school, where maybe something like this can really transform their life and put them on a path where they want to give back to others. Obviously, this is a really big piece of the FFA mission in general and as a whole. And so we hope that this is just a way that they can see anybody can give, no matter how big or how small. I mean, just scooping pasta and soy into a bag is really small, but the impact is massive. And so that's just true to life in a lot of ways.
Georgie, this is a high demand event at FFA every single year. You
Yes.
guys have been doing it for a while too, haven't you?
Yes, we've been doing this for quite a while with FFA chapters all over the Midwest. Every year we pack millions of meals with FFA chapters, so it's amazing.
Georgie, as we round out our conversation, what else is important to note about the work they're doing here?
Yeah, we love partnering with the FFA. The kids are awesome. As you can see behind us, they just have great attitudes. They work hard, and they're looking for things like this. So it's a great win-win for everybody.
All right, Meals from the Heartland, Director of Operations, Georgie Filberg, joining us here on the very upper level of Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Yes.
One of our presenting sponsors for this year's FFA Convention coverage is Tallgrass. We had the chance to catch up with them to learn more about their investment in the FFA.
As we continue our coverage of this year's Nebraska FFA State Convention, we're joined by Kyle with Tallgrass. We appreciate you joining us, Kyle. I want to learn a little bit more about the company and your support for ag education here in the state of Nebraska. But first, who is Tallgrass? What do you guys do?
Great, thank you very much. And we appreciate the opportunity to be here today. So as you said, my name is Kyle Quackenbush. I'm a segment president at Tallgrass Energy. Tallgrass is actually called Nebraska home for more than a decade. Not a lot of people would necessarily know us, but our business is operating pipelines and infrastructure to be able to deliver commodity commodities to markets here in the state. So for us today, that's primarily natural gas assets. We operate about a little over 2,000 miles of pipeline in the state today. We provide energy to a lot of the ethanol plants that exist in the state, as well as a lot of the rural communities.
Well, this is an exciting industry because things are quickly evolving and
Yes.
changing. What do you enjoy about it?
I think that you nailed it, actually. We provide a really necessary service in an area where you have dynamic markets and changing, and so we're looking at different commodities, we are looking at different ways to provide solutions. I like the nature of that, to be able to say we're providing a critical service, we need to make sure that we are continuing to do so in an innovative way going forward to stay relevant, but also to meet our customers' changing needs.
Well, Tallgrass is supporting Nebraska FFA Foundation through a
Yeah.
variety of ways, including sponsoring the stream, which we
Yes.
appreciate you joining us to
absolutely.
shed a little bit of a light on that. But why invest in agricultural education here in the Cornhusker State?
Yeah, no, great question. So we have this statement at Tallgrass that we say to each other that, when farmers and ranchers do well, we all do well. And we can't think of a better way to support that or back that up than by supporting the FFA Foundation here in Nebraska. As we think about the FFA, this investment that we're putting forward here is about, innovation and opportunity for future generations. And so we want to make sure that these students have the tools, the mentorship, the opportunities that will help prepare them for the next generations of challenges and opportunities that they have the ability to take advantage of.
Well, there are 8,000 FFA members and supporters here in Lincoln for Nebraska FFA State Convention. That's certainly exciting. I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
When it comes to the next generation of agriculturalists, these youth involved in ag education today, what kind of advice would you give them?
Sure. Thank you for asking. These are the important questions. So first of all, these will be big picture things. I think, and these are all advice that I've been given by people that care about me and my life. So one is, I think, it is important, no matter what you are doing, to be living in accordance with your values. And so whether that's what you are doing, who you are working with, where you are working, if you're not living in accordance with those values, you will find things to be a challenge and a grind, and it won't be as rewarding as if you are able to actually live those out in your work. Not always easy to do, but incredibly important. I think the other thing I would say is it is incredibly important to embrace change as you're faced with it. Look at those as opportunities versus challenges. I know that you mentioned we have a very dynamic environment in the energy industry. When I look at those things as opportunities and things that we can go adapt and change on, adapt to and meet, we are more likely to be successful for doing that. The last one is, as I interact with my kids, life is a gift. Don't be afraid. There is so much opportunity that's out there. As I talk to my kids, they're so anxious about what's going to happen. There will be challenges that you're going to be able to face. Do that without fear and be able to lean into those and be thankful for those opportunities as they present themselves.
Some great pieces of advice. Kyle, thank you very much for joining us here on our
Thank you.
Preshow.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, we turn now our attention to the remaining Nebraska FFA state officers who will be delivering their retiring address. Of course, this year's theme is Every Moment, and they share more about what that means in their FFA journey.
Continue our series here, visiting with members of the Nebraska FFA State Officer Team. Serving as president this past year, Reagan Choate, as well as Vice President Alexa Tolman. Let's look back a little bit on the past year. Reagan, let's start with you. What did you hope to accomplish when you ran for this position, and were you able to do so?
Yeah, back in April, after we'd just gotten elected, we all came together and made some goals as a team for the things we wanted to do. And at the front of it all was just making good member connections. And I think we've accomplished that. We've met with, there's 12,000 members in the state of Nebraska, and we've done a great job in making connections and just building those bonds with those students and seeing their passion for FFA grow. And I think we've accomplished that goal. It's been really great, and definitely that was one of the main things that I wanted to do prior to running for state office, was just to get to know members and learn more about them. And I think we've accomplished that.
Alexa, there's a lot of events that you all are part of. A couple of them we often talk about include Colt and Chapter Visit, but what's another event that you all did over the past year? You're proud of the work that you and your teammates did.
Yeah, this last year we hosted our first Ignite conference for 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, and I would have to say that was actually my favorite because it was all of these new members in FFA coming together to get more excited, learn more about FFA. That was hosted back in September, and the very first one that FFA has done, and it was super fun to see those members.
When I meet people not familiar with FFA, seeing state convention for the first time, they ask me, man, how do these state officers know everything they're saying up on stage? So Reagan, pull behind the curtain a little bit and give us a sneak peek into some of the work that you and your teammates have been doing over the past several months to get ready for these sessions.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of preparation that goes into state convention. I never realized it myself, even being a very active FFA member. But there's a lot of different days of, getting together, planning for convention, doing a lot of memorization, getting to do days kind of like this, getting to do interviews and things like that, getting people excited for FFA. Even just coming up with a theme takes a lot of time just to make sure that state convention is a week to remember, because it's truly like the peak of the year. It's where we get to recognize all the outstanding students and all the people that make FFA happen. So we want it to be an incredible couple days in Lincoln, and it seems like we're gearing up for another great state convention.
Alexa, similar question, but in terms of speaking in front of a large crowd, obviously this will be the biggest inside Pinnacle Bank Arena, but over the past year, how have you learned to manage and kind of keep the nerves in check?
I think just remembering that we're all here for the same reason, all here to grow ourselves. All of those students are so excited just like we are, and like using that energy to propel yourself into that moment. Just being excited just like everybody else is, and it'll be so fun in Pinnacle Bank.
We'll stay with you. Kind of the capstone over here is giving a retiring address. Tell us about yours.
So my retiring address is called Meant to Be, and it's about finding those opportunities that can help you grow into who you're meant to be, and how we can all be our true selves and how that impacts our world. So,
Reagan, how's your retiring address coming along as you develop the theme and what you want to share with members?
Yeah, my RA, we're getting to the final stages of having it all written, and it's all about capitalizing the power of the simple words in our lives, the things that we sometimes sometimes we take for granted, the small words that have tremendous power, and diving into the effects that they can have on people in your conversations and just in your daily life, as long as you just go ahead and use those small words like hello and thank you.
Well, soon, the two of you, along with your other teammates, will hang up your FFA jackets. You'll continue, though, propelling throughout your education. Remind us what you're studying and goals for the future in terms of maybe a career someday. Reagan, let's start with you.
I'm a horticulture major at the University of Nebraska, and I am a minor in the Angler Entrepreneurship Program. And my goal is just to bring producers and consumers closer together in the long term. So getting more food grown in Nebraska that we're eating as people. I love corn and beans, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of amazing opportunities we have in Nebraska beyond just corn and beans. And I just want to make those opportunities for farmers and even just for myself, just providing those market opportunities.
Alexa, same question to you.
Yeah, I'm majoring in ag education with a goal to go back to Western Nebraska and be an ag teacher and FFA advisor back in my home area.
Well, thank you both for sitting down with us and reflecting on the past year. We do appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Blue Jackets have been all over Lincoln this week, competing in various competitions, attending different activities, and learning lots along the way. Everything from downtown Lincoln to East Campus, all the way over to Southeast Community College on the clear eastern side of Lincoln. Let's catch up with some of those FFA members to see what they've been up to.
We're at the Nebraska State FFA Convention, and in addition to competing, FFA members also have the opportunity to participate in leadership workshops. Joining me is Angela and Zale of the Kippahaw County FFA chapter. Tell us about the leadership session that you just took part in.
Go ahead. It was about being the best of yourself and being positive, and don't let negative people stay in your life, I guess. Yes, I would love to add to that. It was about being your truth and own it, growing it, and being it. Do not let other people into your life and change your values. Just truly be yourself at all times.
What was your biggest takeaway from the workshop and something that you hope to apply down the road?
Getting negative thoughts out. Yes, there's certain times where you compare yourself to others and start thinking badly about yourself from social media or other aspects, and it's certainly great ways to take away from that to not do that anymore.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure that you both are competitive in FFA as well, but what does it mean to have leadership opportunities like this through the organization?
just being able to get out there and like show people a positive side of it and not just the negatives that some people see.
I think it's a great way to meet people as well, just to be positive and show other people really what you're doing and how you can impact others, let alone if you're giving a speech or if you're doing another event, just giving ways to educate other students.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure you have a busy week here in Lincoln. What are some of the other things that you guys will be taking part in?
I'll be welding tomorrow morning.
I'll be doing junior public speaking, and then I believe we'll have some chapter meals and try to go maybe to the mall and just some good bonding experiences for our chapter for sure.
Yeah, you have to make the most of your time in Lincoln.
Absolutely.
Once again, that's Angela and Zale of the Kippahaw County FFA chapter here at the Nebraska State FFA Convention in Lake Meadows.
Well, that'll do it for the third and final pre-show here at the 97th Nebraska FFA State Convention. Thanks to our supporters, the Nebraska FFA Foundation and Tallgrass, as well as our media intern for the week, Grace Tobias of the Shickley FFA chapter. Again, more than 12,000 FFA members across the state flocking to Lincoln this week. We're going to head inside Pinnacle Bank Arena for the final sessions of the day. For Rebel Sokocha, I'm Alex Makovica.